Hey everybody, welcome back to another Dorico video. This one's kind of a short one, but I think it's stupendously important. This has to do with creating independent chord symbols, key signatures, and time signatures in Dorico. Now, I know we don't use this a whole heck of a lot when we're working on a Dorico project, but let me tell you, when you really need this, it's like the only way to go. And again, until recently, I didn't even know this was an option. So this was a huge time saver and it really helped me out. So here we are with a look at doing independent chord symbols, key signatures, and time signatures here in Dorico. Okay, so what I've got pulled up here is an arrangement of Stan Kenton's Intermission Riff. And this is a situation where one might want to do something a little bit different with your chords and your notation. So you can see down here, my trombone section all have a strong note on the and of 4 that's affected by this new chord symbol. It goes up a half step. And that's a great kind of device, and it's nice to have the chord symbol aligned with the beat where it happens. However, because this is a professional chart, I didn't write out all of the notation for the rhythm section. I just have slashes, and so having this floating chord really makes people wonder what in the world is going on here. And so what I want to do is I want to be able to put that chord symbol back on beat 1 for these parts, but have it on the and of 4 for my trombone parts, for example. So what I'm going to show you here is if I select this and then I start moving it around by holding down Option and using the arrow key, you can see it moves that chord symbol for all of the parts because they're all linked together. Now, it's kind of interesting. If you were to right-click, there is a chord symbol option, and there's all these kind of interesting things here, but there's nothing about making this item independent, which is kind of a bummer. But when I did my time signature video recently, I realized, hey, wait a minute, I think there's a way of doing this, because in the time signature tool, if you hit Option Enter, you could enter an independent time signature in one stave. So it got me thinking, could I do this with any of the other tools? And lo and behold, it works for the chord symbol. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this group chord symbol, and I'm just going to delete it out of there so that I just have blank space. Now, I'm going to click on the and of 4 note in the trombone, and I'm going to go to my chord symbol tool, Shift Q, and then I'm going to enter my chord symbol, D69. Now, instead of hitting just Enter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Option key and hit Enter. And you'll see it only put the chord symbol in that one spot. And now this chord symbol is independent, and I can move it back and forth, and it only affects this one stave. Now, do note that you can't have an independent chord symbol and a full chord symbol in the same bar. See what happens when I move it over on top of the grouped chord symbol, it overwrites that one, which is actually also kind of handy because that means if I want to see a slightly different chord symbol on my solo part than my rhythm section, I can actually enter that independently, which is kind of great. And you can see if I move it around, it doesn't actually delete the grouped one, it just makes it so that it's hidden, which is again pretty awesome. Now, once I've put it there, if I want to put it in the rest of my trombone section, what I can do is I can just click on this independent chord symbol and then copy, so the Command C, and then I'm going to click on all the notes where I want it to be, and I'm Command V, and now there's an independent chord symbol on all of those parts, which is, again, such a time saver because it really is pretty quick to put it in. Now, there's one caveat to this, and that is these chord symbols are now independent. So if I change the bottom one to, say, a D9, you'll see that it only changes that one chord symbol. It will not change all the rest of them because they are not grouped. So that is just something to kind of bear in mind as you're doing this. But now, again, I can go down here to my guitar part. I can hit Shift Q, put in the D69 on beat 1, hold down Option Enter, and then I can copy and paste that into my piano and into my bass part. And so now my rhythm section has the chord symbol on beat 1, and my trombones have the chord symbol on the and of 4, which for their particular parts is the best notation practice. Now, this same procedure works for both the key signature tool and the time signature tool, and it's the exact same methodology. If I click on the first note in a measure and I go into my key signature tool, Shift K, and then I enter in, let's say, C major, and then I hit Option Enter, you can see it will enter just a key signature in the part I had selected. And then I can go up here to say this part, and I could hit Shift M for the time signature, and then I could put in 2-4, for example, hold down Option, hit Enter, and there you go. Now you have an independent time signature, key signature, and chord symbol. Now, this is a really, really amazing tool set, and I have been really so happy that I found it, because there are just times when I need this option, and I was really not sure that Dorico could do it. But now that I know, it really opens up a lot of options, because there's a lot of times, say in a big band chart, where I want to have chord symbols on rhythms in the rhythm section parts, but I don't want to show all those like in-between chords to the soloist. I just want them to see the basic outline. And so now I can create a set of solo changes for the soloist and then have my rhythm section parts be independent. Now, if you were to go in and go to your setup, you can hide those chord symbols from other parts. So if I didn't want to see the chord symbols, say in that fifth trombone part, but I only wanted to see them in certain places, I can hide that and then go in and put in a chord symbol region. And so that way I could use the grouped chord symbols for my rhythm section parts and then just put in individual ones in each individual part. Because again, if you go under Right, and then you can do chord symbol region, and see now I can see just the chord symbols in that one specific area. So I'm not having to worry about seeing them in all the parts if that's not what I want. So thanks again so much for watching. I know it was a short video, but I thought it was a really cool one. If you're enjoying all the content, please like and subscribe these videos. And if you want to help support me and all the things that I'm doing right now, go ahead and check me out on my Patreon page, patreon.com/LarsonJazz. I've got some cool stuff going up there, and I'm going to continue adding to it because I'd really like to make sure people have some really good options and you can get the help you need. And keep firing away those questions. It's been awesome. I also do private lessons. If anybody really needs to do a deep dive into one of their Dorico projects, I'm happy to help you out with that. So send me a message if you're interested. And without further ado, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.